20 approach.
Left turn 230, 2700, until established, clear for the ILS, localizer 20 approach, 823.
All right, we've been given a left turn direct heat-tip for practice RNAV approach at Chattanooga, runway 20. Which way? Straight ahead, how low? We're at 2,500 to maintain VMC because there's ice in the clouds today. But,
November 28 Whiskey Echo, now you're 3 miles from ETIP. Maintain VFR cleared, RNAV runway 20 approach.
Maintain VFR cleared, RNAV 20 approach, a Whiskey Echo.
Right. Alright, so we're the approach is armed up and
November 8 here, Kilo contact tower
all set.
118.3.
So we're looking to cross CTIP. When we do, this context sensitive OBS key will turn to SUSP. But since we're on the inbound side of the approach, that is heat tip in this case, the Garmin will not go into suspend. In other words, the green light will not be lit when we cross. And that's consistent with the technology that's preceded the G3000. Garmin knows we want to use this hold as it's drawn. Once it knows we want to use it as a procedure turn. Now we can make it a hold by lighting the green bar under what will be just a few seconds here, SUSP. And there it is. So the suspend context sensitive key is available to us, but the light is not lit. If we suddenly heard from ATC, they said, the non-towered airport, maybe somewhere, the deal would be we would need to spin in the hold if the person in front of us hadn't canceled yet. And so that could be done very readily, even at this point, just by simply lighting the suspend light. Once it's lit, however, if we get the call cleared for the approach, we can continue inbound by unlighting the light. And that logic precedes the G3000 all the way back to the 430. So 3 questions: which way? Straight ahead. How low? For us today to maintain VMC, we need 2,500. And next will be procedure turn outbound. Garmin will flash a white banner and thereby let us know that the turn is beginning. Left to 157 in 4, 3, 2, 1. Alright, so because we're maintaining VFR 2,500, we'll have no step downs to do today. We'll cross Zuban at 2,500 and get the glide path there. But I encourage you to consider doing the step downs. A stabilized approach is important. It begins at the final approach fix. When we put down gear, put down a notch of flaps, and bring the power to 425-ish. At that time, we'd be at 120 knots for a Category Bravo aircraft, and we'd do the approach from there. We can still add flaps, but we shouldn't be doing that until we have the airport in sight. The Meridian, the M600 has only two flap settings, takeoff and landing. You can land with one notch of flaps, and so if the weather's low and you get the runway in sight, say at 200 feet AGL, then it may be...
Number 8, Whiskey Echo, contact tower 118.3.
Opener tower, 8 Whiskey Echo.
May be safer and better to just land with takeoff flaps.
Chattanooga tower, Meridian 28 Whiskey Echo, RNAV 20.
2 Whiskey Echo, Chattanooga tower, wind 2809, runway 20, clear to land.
Clear to land, runway 20, 8 Whiskey Echo.
And let's get a word in there, let him know that we want to taxi back, take off, and fly another approach.
Roger. And tower, 28 Whiskey Echo, this will be a full stop taxi back and out for another
VFR
approach.
takeoff, yep.
2 Whiskey Echo, rider.
Yep. Which way? How low? What's next? Straight ahead, 2,500. Joe Kate is next. Joxit, excuse me. Flow, it could be done now before we get too busy. Manual. HOTS is required. Landing light shouldn't be on yet because did he just clear us to land? Okay. Alright, take it back. So in the scheme of things, when we get to the final approach fix, we're configuring for the landing. We'll have a glide path. We'll be putting down the gear and a notch of flaps, bringing the power back, such that we maintain our 120 knots in the descent to the runway. 120 is a Category Bravo, that's what we are. It's as fast as we can go as a Bravo, and that's a good thing, in that it gives us the energy we need for the go-around and is close enough to the white arc that we can accomplish that once we get the runway in sight. Unless it's very, very low, in which case we land with partial flaps. That's perfectly okay. Just have to make the determination we have enough runway to do it. And in most cases that will be true. As far as the setup goes, we've got flight plan displayed on one or both of the GTCs. And we could be using, for our data, we could be using the map on the GTC 2. Like so. Switch over to GTC 2, and we have that map set up with data. So we have that available. Desired track, cumulative distance, altitude, remember blue is true, white is right, and fuel remaining, which is useful. Estimated time en route, and ETA and UTC. Those are the data blocks. Zuban is next. The glide is alive. No delay now.
Down.
GP is green. So the first indication, 4:15-ish, the first indication you know you need gear and flaps is the green GP. As soon as it turns green, reach up there and get that gear. Now today the weather's not low. We see the runway. We're configured to land, but consistent with the concept of landing at the slowest speed consistent with safety, we should, when it's safe to do so, use the landing flaps, which is going to be almost all the time. So at some point, when you're configured with 10 flaps, you're within the white arc, we'll get the second notch of flaps and allow the autopilot to trim for us. And notice somewhere around 400 pounds is what it takes on a normal glide path to keep your speed. And now that we're in the white arc with full flaps, runway in sight, and a clearance, we want to manage that airspeed between 100 and 110. So power now, please, just a little. You see what's happening. So look at the power when you push, look at the airspeed rather when you push the power. When it's scrolling in the right direction, you can stop pushing. Just keep your hand there because power is primary now as the pitch is fixed. Note the path markers right on the threshold. And as we look out the window, we can see that the aim point, the two white rectangles, are coming right at the seam of the windshield, horizontal seam,
500,
just above the first third of the windshield. And now that nose has come up just a little. As a result, the airspeed's come off a little. Let's put the nose back down. Hold it still and manage the crab. Yep, nice. That's looking good.
26 Charlie Bravo, contact departure.
Charlie Bravo.
Runway appears clear. We have 3 green. Recommend we continue. Let's get that thumb up on the trim. Don't start to run it yet, but make sure you're ready to run the trim. Keep the path marker right on the threshold. Yep. Your power is good. Back to 90 knots now. Push down. Yeah, go for that aim point. Squeeze, and you want 90 over that aim point. Take the power away now. Take it all away. Right. Hand away. Right there. Hold it off. Little left rudder. Little left. Right. Right. Nice. Push with both feet on the rudder only. And now brakes with back pressure. Very nicely done. You got this one if you want it. Nicely done. Dick Rochfort, fly safely. Train often.